Yeah. I think we're good. I think we're really good.
I think we're good.
Or, I'm serious. We still need to do this live.
Oh, the song? Yes, I'm ready. Yep.
Oh shit, yeah.
And Nico, you're gonna sing.
Of course.
The lyrics.
The vocals.
The unknown lyrics.
Yeah.
You can hear them right now.
Playing the old jaw harp.
Just improv.
Pushback Army. Pushback Army. You got it.
That's it. Yep. That's the lyrics.
Yeah.
That could be your present to the Pushback Army.
That's the present.
That is the present. Your presence is the present. Wow.
We're here.
We're back on the show.
It's
Here we are.
been a year and a half.
Let me
since-
put it this way. Well, last time when you were in our studio, were you sweating or were you super cold too?
It was, I think it was summer, because it was when, so this is the timeline. Our last podcast was right when, right maybe a week or two after I built my first Vesc.
Okay, that's right.
Now we're here.
So it was in the basement.
And didn't we
Yeah.
film it? We filmed it on the same day.
Nice.
I don't know.
Yes, it was.
It was in like
exact
June or
day.
July.
We
It
did
was
a
something
bunch
that.
we did a bunch of shit in the same week and then like staggered it out for.
I think we might have, but I couldn't remember because I know you're cold right now.
Oh, I'm freezing.
We were hot.
He's wearing a freaking coat.
There's just a problem with
look
me
at
and
me.
turning heat on. Apparently, Taylor would agree. Taylor,
It keeps us energized. Cold exposure therapy is really good for you.
it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Taylor's not on the mic today.
Bye, Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor's
But
just producing.
He's still here.
I kind of screwed him on accident. He's only got he only has
Hard
one
thing
ear.
to do on accident.
I know.
Yeah, he
wow.
tripped and you fell.
Exactly. It's not. I promise.
Wow. I don't know, dude. I think there's a whole
Taylor
other.
consented.
He's only got one.
definitely-
He's only got one headphone ear. We're trying to coordinate with the four, so he has to listen with his left ear instead of.
Thank you
his
for your
right hand.
sacrifice, Taylor.
Thank you for your service.
So he's mono instead of stereo. But he's not on the mic today, so if Taylor has a comment, he'll just have to type it out and put it on the edit at the end of the day. Thing. So
Yeah.
But we have Nico back. We have Nico back on the
Thank
show.
you for having
Welcome
me.
back,
Welcome
dude.
back.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You did the damn thing.
Congratulations.
I did the damn thing.
You did the damn thing.
It's been a crazy ass year for me ever since the last podcast. Things for me since then have just been like
Let's talk about-
exponential, wild.
Let's talk about that rush. What's gone down, bro? What's happening?
Let's see. So, well, since the last podcast, it's just been the Vesc boom. Like we solved nose hunting after I raced at Windman.
Okay.
And ever since then, I did underground finals early 2023. I almost said this year. It's weird. Early 2023, and that was like the same setup I had been riding, just without the nose hunting or anything. But with the remote, so we started bringing the remote to the table. Riley Johnson got in on that, and then he started racing his big tire there.
Nice.
He wasn't even gonna race. That was his secondary board. And then just while his main board was charging, he took that out on the trails. It was just like a makeshift setup he put together last second, and then realized it was literally working like suspension.
Nice.
And just raping. I think he ended up winning that race by the top 2 through 4. The times were within a couple seconds of each other, and then his time was a minute faster than everyone else.
Oh,
Wow.
That's crazy.
So that's why everyone after that race, everyone was like, "Big tire gang, big tire gang."
Big target.
And then I got on it for Oak City Shred Fest, and Oak City Shred Fest was the first time.
You still have the 5-inch wasn't there then, right?
No,
No,
5-inch didn't happen until Float Life Fest at end of season.
Got it.
But so I got on Big Tire Gang for Oak City Shred Fest, and I also started rocking the Control Freaks. So remote Control Freaks, Big Tire, and just
created
the
a whole
Vest
new
getting
genre.
better. My build was totally revamped.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I'm I had never raced like I have been this year, and suddenly I'm getting I think Oak City Shred Fest, I had the 3rd fastest time trial, 2nd fastest lap on the float track. Then go to Dirt Surfers, I had the 5th fastest overall time, which is what everyone was at Dirt Surfers. Everyone goes to Dirt Surfers. That's the race.
Yeah.
And 5th fastest overall time. So now I'm I'm actually doing this. And after that, I've just been more pumped than ever to just keep pushing shit. Obviously I'm on, most people are racing the Future Motion boards. So I'm on a Vesc. So there's something to that. Like, it's not all rider skill. I'm not claiming I'm the best rider.
I mean,
out there.
you put in. I mean, you put in the hours though. It's like.
Well, you say that. Here's the crazy thing. Okay, sort of jumping timelines, but this last year, like I've been full. It was my last year of school.
Okay.
So I'm all like pushing, making sure I'm actually like passing my classes, so I don't push that out farther. Sort of low on money. I was working a lot throughout the year. Pretty much the only time I rode in 2023 was either riding my little growler to class or like to Subway or something, and then at the events and races and shit.
Nice.
Least amount of ride time with the most amount of progress.
Yeah, I'd come out to the races as early as I could, just because I knew I'd have catching up to do. I knew I'd try to come out early enough so I could like get practice days in, and then like a rest day, because the endurance is what fucked me this year. Every single race, you can watch it on my videos. Every single race, I'm just like, I'm cooked. Like I literally physically can't push the board more without like my legs just giving out.
Damn.
Well, and every time I saw you over the year, it was like, no, I can't hang out right now because I got to go check these. I've got to dial in my tune for the, you know, like, it's like, all right, I guess I'll see you
all of like
next
ultimate
year.
tune dialing.
Like at end of 2022 was all like I was focused on the software and like fixing up Vesc. 2023 I was just focused on school, but like
But you're done now.
done.
Yay.
Finally graduated. It's so weird because I got into Onewheel mid 2019, and that was like the start of my second year. So I'm in a 5-year program, and I changed majors at some point, so that extended out a bit. So everyone's like,
So you're a doctor now.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Dr. Ailman.
Throughout these years, everyone's like,
Aleman.
when the fuck are you going to graduate? Like, it feels like I've been in school forever. Everyone's like, when are you going to graduate? When are you going to graduate? And it feels weird to be done and past that.
You're an adult now.
But at the
Welcome
same
to
time,
welcome
I've
to the
also
real
been
world.
kind of checked out with school for the
Yeah,
past
for
year.
sure.
Felt like I've been done for the past year. But
Sick, man.
we're out of there, and I'm just stoked that, like, this is how I've done in the past race season with not being able to ride throughout the year. So now I don't
what's,
school anymore, and that time can just be taken up by like actual training and practice.
Yeah.
Actually taking care of my body for once, and not just
No more
DoorDashing all the
ramen,
fucking
no more
time.
DoorDash
Yeah.
and
Too much ramen, too much DoorDash, and just getting fit, practicing more, training more, getting my endurance up, and at the same time, all the Future Motion guys. Well, there's a lot of guys that raced Future Motion last year and are jumping onto the Vesc. So Vesc racing in general is going to be sick this
bigger,
year.
yeah.
And all the ORL guys have GTS now, so they're going to get pumped up.
GT sloppy.
That's a first. I haven't heard that one before.
It's not. It's all right.
It's all right.
You could do better. You could do better.
It's all right.
But
So you're exclusively racing Vesc.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
I mean, I
tossed it.
thought you were, but I just mean in
Well,
the
that's
future.
the thing. I
that's your
did toss
plan?
it around for a bit. I was like, a little bit of FOMO. Like the GTS power wise, it's finally there, and custom shaping is really sick. I haven't tried it too much, but the like turn compensation they have in it definitely makes up a lot for just the shitty turning that Future Motion boards have, which is my biggest gripe with them personally. So I was tossing around a bit, like maybe I'll juggle it a bit, like for races like dirt surfers where you have like miles and miles of trails to practice. No, but some stuff like Let It Ride, where it's just like one race course you're focusing on. I was like, I think I could toss around like using 2 boards and racing both is something like that. It's like maybe I could do both ORL and Vesc for those kinds of races. But the more I think about it, I'm like, I kind of just want to just full commit to one board now that I finally have the time to like properly train and practice, take advantage of that as much as I can, and just commit to one board, commit to just dialing that in as much as possible and just see what the fuck happens.
Yeah.
See if we can blow times out of the water, or see
Yeah.
if GTS is that big of a game changer that everyone just steps it up a level and just level playing field, but like a new level playing field.
Right.
So
what's the secret sauce? What's the board comprised of now?
it's pretty much the same thing since Oak City Stratfest. Like those are really the big game changers: remote tilt, control freaks, big tire. The 5-inch hub is really fun. I gotta like that. I think right now those are my main 2 setups. I have the extended rails with the big tire, and then standard size rails with the 5-inch hub, and both are really fun. That
20s?
Right now it's a 20S in there. I'm probably just gonna go to a meat pack or something for that one, just for the range.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you'll stick with a 5 or just a big tire in general?
Well, that's the thing. The 5-inch hub is really fun. The 555 Enduro is by far my favorite all-around tire now. Like, it's just fun. I'm not a big fan of the full-size Enduro, so I didn't expect to like it as much as I do. But, like, it's as stable as you want it to be when you just lower the pressure. You can bump up the pressure, and it feels a lot like any other 5.5 tire, but actually stable. You can whip it around. It's just really fun and responsive. So I really like having that on the side just for when I'm trying to have fun on trails, or if I'm on trails with tons of like twists and bends. But like full speed racing, especially the way we're going to be doing it this next year, like in trails, 25 plus mile per hour range. That big tire so far, like, it just can't be beat. I really hope some other companies start actually diving into that more, since right now everyone's rocking the same big tires, that Burris 11.5 by 7, and it is a really high bar. But it'd be sweet to just have more options and more support for that. Maybe even a big tire on the 5-inch rim.
Nice.
Just hella sidewall. It'd probably be too much sidewall, to be honest. But just experimenting with that would be sweet. And then 5-inch hub that technically also takes you out of superflux territory.
Yeah.
Like the hypercore to the 5-inch hub is basically the same as the superflux stator to the superflux, or to like a 6-inch rim. That thing fills up that motor.
Wow.
So I haven't hopped on the superflux train yet. I have one on the way. I don't know if I'm gonna like it better just because the weight, it's like 5 to 7 pounds more.
Wow. Wow, I didn't know it was that much more.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I don't think you'd feel it too much in the board, but I hate carrying my board around as is, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, even just riding it, I mean, that's
It's
one,
heavy.
Just with going to the GT, just the weight of the board when you start to feel it, when it's just even in turns or anything like that, just like, oh, this is a heavy board that I have marginally less control over because the weight of the board is just throwing itself around.
I do wonder how much of that, though, is like the tail weight, more like the imbalance nose to tail rather than just the
if
weight
it's right
in general.
In the core, then that's, I can see that being less
There's
of
a
an
lot
issue.
of factors because, like, the float wheel, it has a split pack, so it's more balanced, and it doesn't feel quite like a GT. But at the same time, it's still a really heavy board, and it does have like a GTS feel. That might just be like the thickness of the frame too. There's a lot of factors, but at the end of the day, like, you can't beat the XR form factor.
Dude,
Yeah.
I agree.
The float wheel is really fun, but I'm XR form factor all day right now until someone proves me otherwise.
Yeah.
So we'll see where we go with that. I'm probably mostly going to stick to the hypercore until someone like Riley Johnson forces me to actually bump up the specs of my board.
Yeah.
But I haven't really, even the hypercore, I haven't felt restricted too much. Thermals are the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It just overheats.
Yeah.
But if you can deal with that, and at my weight, I'm lucky enough that I can. But yeah, I don't
You
know.
guys are making it.
Oh, I'd be
XR goat,
overheating
aren't you?
shit all day. My fat ass going up a hill, it's just nothing
It
but
gets
overheat.
toasty.
They got the XR goat. That does look
Yeah,
pretty sick.
you got the XR goat coming, right?
Have you tried it yet, or is it Michael that has the prototype?
Only Michael.
Yeah.
Only Michael. No, it's mine actually should be here today.
Nice.
Nice. man.
I am so excited. The way he described it and the way he designed it, I think it's going to be a killer tire.
Do you think
really
it's a
excited.
T2 killer?
I think it might be.
That's what I'm curious
Might
about.
be. I mean, even just like conceptually, I think this might be. I mean, I am T2. I've been T2 for pretty much my
Yeah.
whole trail riding existence. I think this might topple it. I think it's gonna. Feel,
Wow.
Some big dog words there.
I mean, the tread pattern's cooler.
I mean, that's really at the end of the day, you're just trying to look cool, isn't that?
That's the only reason
cares
I
about how it
exist.
rides?
Who cares how it rides?
Every single decision I make is based on looking cool.
You know what I think looks cool? A Vega treaded.
It does
Start
look
racing that.
Badass tire. But no, I mean, I was surprised at how much better the GOAT made the GT feel in general. So
That blew my mind
I'm
for sure.
really
Yeah.
hyped for the 6-inch version. I think it's going to be great. And yeah, again, if it's even a T2 toucher, then it's going to be good.
That's what at the end of the day, you can only do so much to save that 6.5-inch rim.
Yeah, no, it's
So
yeah,
to have the extra options, that's sweet.
for sure.
Sick.
Yeah, man. So now,
Is there any application for 6.5?
You have no idea how much I've thought about that, and it's nothing. Like it's
Drifting?
Unless we're
if you were
missing
doing a
something-
drift build or something.
maybe the only application would be something where like you really benefit from being on that rim for whatever reason, and like the tire keeping its shape. But the 6-inch does that fine.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing with the 5-inch rim, it does make the tire a little more like vague feeling.
Yeah.
You don't feel as solid of an edge, for better or for worse. I love it. I still ride it even on street, but I can see some people it being a personal preference thing.
Yeah.
But 6-inch does the like if that's too much for you, 6-inch does the job fine.
Do you think? I mean, we're toying with the idea of because that's sort of the only issue I would see with the 5-inch hub right now is that it does have that sort of like rolly, tippy feel to it. But I think you could make up for that with a tire, with a correct tire. I think that you could get rid of some of that where it's just like, oh, there's just nothing on the sidewall.
That's why I'm not a big fan of a lot of the off-the-shelf options. The Burris 5.5 is really fun. It feels exactly like the 6-inch hub version of the Burris 5.5. So it's like really whippy, really playful. And then with the extra sidewall, you can really dig into the edge. But it's rounded edge to edge. You have no center.
Yeah.
So you almost have to ride it like a snowboard where you're just holding the edges. You don't want to be on the center or it'll be unstable.
Right.
But the Enduro 555 fixed all that for me. So it'd be cool to see other companies too getting in on the 5-inch game, bringing
sure.
more tires to the market. I think a lot of people criticize the 5-inch hub and like dismiss the idea just because they tried one of the off-the-shelf tires and didn't dig that particular tire. So, yeah.
Nice.
It can be a little expensive to try them out, though.
That's when I first got my Jeff from the Float Life was lucky enough, or I was lucky enough to have him send me over a prototype 5-inch hub just to try out. Me and Dotto got him just to try it on the Vescs. And this was before the Enduro 555. So I prior to that, I was really pumped on it, and I got like a bunch of different tires for it. One of the tires I got was you could find it on AliExpress. I think I got it through something else, but I was like, this looks kind of promising. It looks like it'd be soft from the descriptions, and I get the box, and it is the most rock hard tire.
Really?
I almost want to throw it on just to fuck around with it, like see what we could do with a rock hard tire that just like slides out super easily or something like that. But then also the top of the box was $1 million bill with like Bible verses on it. Like when you flip it around, it's like, damn.
Nice, yeah.
I'm excited for a second.
You want a real tire. Jesus.
Take the wheel. Take the tire.
All right.
Well, that's a good tire chat. I like it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you're so what's happening now, man? School's out, right? School's out
that's
forever.
Yeah, finally graduated and still like it's so weird. I've been in this grind of like school, work, one wheel, school, work, one wheel for so long that now I'm finally out of school. It almost feels like I've been perpetually stressed, and now that I don't have that stressor, I'm stressed that I don't have something to be stressed about.
Yeah.
Like it feels like I should
sure.
be doing something. It feels like something should be going on. So that's wild.
I'm sure you'll fill it with plenty of.
I'm so excited. I have so many ideas and projects and things I want to work on in my head.
So are there any I know nose hunting, that was a big thing for solve. I mean, you've kind of solved
That's the crazy
a
thing,
lot of the Vesc ish, like the glaring ones, but is there what's the kind of next?
That's why it was so exciting for a while, like jumping into Vesc and having there's a very clear list of this rides like crap, this needs to be fixed, and tackling all those issues one by one. And now it's at a point where everyone's pretty content with how
it's
it rides.
pretty good, yeah.
So I do have a long list of stuff that I haven't really been working on Vest software stuff much in the last year. So that entire year, I've been just any idea that pops up in my head, I list it down. I've got so many things, and it's all just wild, sketchy ideas that could be dangerous, but you don't know
Hey,
until you try
you
it.
have to try them,
Goofy stuff like startup tunes and like your board like playing music while you're riding, like based on your speed and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Just
you,
like
you definitely got to
creative
install
ideas.
Jarvis on a one wheel. Welcome to your ride today, sir.
But yeah, so many ideas. So some of them I want to keep to myself. But even though
Don't do
Vesc,
that. Do tell.
even though
Spill the beans.
even though
the
Vesc is
juicy
pretty
secrets.
solid right now, I think in the next year we're still going to see lots of like quality of life improvements, lots of like accessibility, ease of use kind of deal, just to make the experience a lot more user friendly for people. That's the biggest thing.
Nice.
That's the biggest hill we have to get over right now, just the user friendliness of it, because it's still at a point where like if you're really good at following instructions and like not making assumptions, just doing what a guide says, most people can get by just fine. But the consequences of making a mistake in that is little too severe and just unwelcoming, sort of like scary for people.
Sketch.
It can be dangerous too.
Yeah, exactly. If you screw something up,
Actually dangerous.
yeah, and you could even like miss a value that you didn't realize you needed to switch and not realize it, and it's something that doesn't affect the ride until it does.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Yep.
So that's
Science.
stuff that I really want to work on, just improving that and making people feel more like at ease with Vesc, so they're more willing to hop on it if it makes sense for them.
Yeah.
You know, so that's exciting. But finally graduated.
What's your degree?
It is computer science.
Okay.
So yeah, I started with computer engineering, which is sort of a mix between software and hardware. And then I took
You went full soft.
full soft. Not living the hard life anymore. Just hardware stuff. I like to think I like know some stuff, but I'm just not a huge hardware guy. A lot of stuff just doesn't click for me. I rely on other people for a lot of that stuff. And then I took like semiconductor physics or some shit like that. I was like, nope, I'm out. I'm out. Not working for me.
Saying it, Chief.
Wow.
So yeah, switched to computer science and just all in on like software stuff, sticking to what I know best.
Nice. Yeah, man.
And the biggest thing right now is I love Ohio. Like it's got a cool local community. That's probably the biggest thing. Just the guys around here I love, but especially how much I want to just dive head on, face first into one wheeling right now. Not being able to ride like comfortably
saying
ride
is
5 months out of the year. That's
You love people, is what you're saying. You don't love Ohio. You love people.
I love people,
Yeah.
good people.
Nobody
You just
loves
have to snowboard.
Ohio.
I need to get into snowboarding, dude.
Dude, I think you would. I think
I've
you would love
never
it.
been snowboarding.
I mean, it's the closest.
we had a-
would you argue it's the closest thing to one wheel riding, like that is an analog sport?
Close, but it's Jake just got into snowboarding, and
Okay.
Oh, he
first-
didn't ride before? I
No,
saw
he
he was
did
on the
not.
trip with you guys.
Yeah, no, but he was an instant convert. Like he went down the hill a couple of times. He was like, I already like this better than one wheeling. It's like this is like it's partially because it's harder. It's like because
Yeah.
because you can go whichever, you can spin 360 down
It's
the whole
more
hill.
like free.
Yeah, it's
and more
very
expressive.
open, and that's like if I had to pick as well. Like if you really push me, it's like you can never do any other board sport again. It's like
Yeah.
snowboarding that'd be a hard one to pass up just because. I mean, when it's great, it's great. The cold sucks. It's expensive. Getting to the mountain sucks. All the lift, all that nonsense. But the actual experience, it is
to
so
die
good.
for.
Yeah,
At
it's
the end
really
of the
nice.
day, the big thing about one wheels is just that you can just take it out
Yeah,
your door
you
and
just
go,
go.
anywhere, anytime. While snowboarding, lift passes
Yeah.
in specific time of year and things like that. So that's the big thing for one wheel. But
I would say-
I think I'd love snowboarding.
I think you would.
And that's
too.
what in my
absolutely.
point of my argument. I say I think snowboarding is the most mechanically close sport. Like skateboarding doesn't equate when one wheel
No,
riding to me,
yeah,
but
for
like
sure. But snowboarding is
definitely
closer,
has
absolutely.
that same
because you're
feel.
using your heels and toes and stuff
Yeah.
for the turns. No, and especially one wheeling and then going back to snowboarding, I feel like that made my snowboarding way better.
Yeah.
And then snowboarding that also seems like, I can skate, but that doesn't seem like I get like a better, I don't get any better at one wheeling if I skate.
Yeah.
But one wheeling and snowboarding, going back and forth between those, I feel
Same
like
body
they've really
mechanic.
bolstered
the
both
cross
sports.
training.
Yeah.
I used to like in snowboard training, I would like, okay, it's fall season, like I'm gonna start strapping into the boots, like getting used to it. And it was like 3 years ago or something the last time I actually got to do a good snowboard trip.
Yeah.
But I'd been one wheeling for a little bit at that point. I'm like, oh, I didn't I felt okay. I wasn't horribly crampy for the 2 days that I went where I'm like, oh my God, my calves. Like it seems like one wheel would be a good, we should start selling it to the snowboard market. That's what it is. Hey, all year snowboard.
Someone should get on
here.
this.
Dude, I've never been real snowboarding. And I
What's
feel like
fake snowboarding?
well, like I had when I was a kid, my neighbor had like a
Well, those
snowboard with
Walmarts?
bindings,
Oh,
but it
okay.
was like the hill was like a regular hill around here. It wasn't like snow trail.
Yeah,
like
I
a hill,
gotcha.
like a
sledding,
like a backyard hill.
with
Yeah,
snowboarding.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like we would do we had jumps and shit, but I've never been on a mountain with a
Yeah. Yeah,
just
snowboard or
legit,
anything like that.
yeah.
Yeah, but you were saying that it makes it kind of better for both ones. Sorry, but for me, I feel like one wheeling makes my skateboarding worse.
Oh yeah.
Way worse.
Because you try and like lean, you're like, why am I not going faster?
are the physics
Or,
not
like,
working here?
Like
Why
when
am
you
I
want to
turning-
slow
yeah.
down, especially and like leaning back, like that's definitely not great. A skateboard just
Yeah.
flips out from under you.
If you
so.
swap between the two like consistently enough, you
Yeah.
can get to a point where it's not that big of
Yeah.
a deal. Like you can ride for like a minute and then okay, you're back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it definitely doesn't
me,
help.
I think
Yeah.
you
No,
have
it doesn't. No, they do not help each other.
Like I think you have to skate more than you ride one
Yeah.
wheel for it
Yeah.
to make sense. Because
like hopping on the one wheel, you're immediately back into one wheeling. But
Yeah.
when I hop on a
Yeah.
skateboard, it takes me like an hour
Yeah, dude.
to start feeling good again. And then I'm like, but now I'm fucking tired. Like, like I'm not young anymore.
That's why I
I'm
ride.
so
That's,
pretty.
that's
young,
why I
but-
ride like the speedy bearings now. Because I'm like, if I ride the like regular reds or something, it just I'm like, it's not.
Oh, I have to
it's
push?
not
I have to
going.
push?
Like,
Yeah.
Give me a.
I keep using my mind to tell this to go faster like I do with my one wheel, and it's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sort of looping back, like 5 months out of the year, like you can ride in the cold. I know there's so
But
many.
it's- yeah.
Well, there's so many people that like are so dedicated. They're like full gear up.
Dude,
you know,
Robert was
goggles
like
and
that. He was like,
everything.
I'm going to go one wheeling in the snow.
And I was like, I love
agreed.
one wheeling enough. I can do that. And I just like the time it takes to put on all the gear.
And then you're like 10 pounds heavier, so your board isn't doing.
You can't you can't
Yeah.
feel the
Yeah.
board.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
can't feel your legs. You
Dude.
got wind chill in your unless you're wearing full like balaclava and goggles.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't feel your face.
Yep.
So unless you
And it's
look like a
just-
snowboarder and you're like
Yeah.
Literally.
snow
Yeah.
pants and like all the gear,
And then like
time to
limits
go.
your field of view so you can't see your feet and it kind of throws off
Yeah.
your riding a
Dude,
bit.
I
It's
tried
just
it
not
last year. It
fun.
was not
No.
for me. I did it for like a few months in the winter last year, and then we started doing shop rides instead because I was like, I think everyone was like, "Fuck this! This is not worth." Like,
No, it's not
and,
worth it.
And we all wanted to still hang out and
Yeah.
ride one wheel, so it was like the shop rides or whatever. But like, yeah,
It's the only
It's
way
not
I
for
would
me.
do it is like something like Wisconsin where their weather is cold enough that everything totally freezes over and you actually get consistent snow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he can go and ride on like fat bike, mountain
Yeah.
bike trails
Yeah.
covered in snow. But
cool.
here we literally just get stuck in that freeze thaw
Yup.
cycle.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Freeze
It's
at night and then
sloppy
above
and-
freezing
yeah.
at day and just mud for 5 months. And
Yep.
That's the only reason snowboarding makes sense because like you go, you dress up, it's still cold, like you're out there doing your thing, but then you go get a few beers and you go hang out in the lodge and you warm up and then you're warm again and you go back out. But you don't ever have to undress or read like you just
Yeah,
always
yeah,
in
you're just
big ass
suited.
puffy coats
Yep.
and you're like,
Yeah.
well, okay.
Which again, I'm fine of suiting up if you're getting a incredible experience. But
Yeah.
yeah, one wheeling in the winter is not it. It's
Yeah,
it can be kind of fun, but
I love a good like street group ride, but like that takes enough out of it for
Yeah.
me. That I'm zero motivation
feel you.
to.
Yeah.
I feel you.
I'm all trails.
So what you're
nowadays,
saying
pretty
is it's
much.
a
Yeah.
West Coast sport for you.
I'm thinking like going into graduation. I had a bunch of different areas on my mind, like West Coast, obviously, like Texas, Arkansas.
yeah, obviously, yeah.
If not now, at some point, I really just want to spend like a year living out there or something. I feel like
Because of Walmart, right?
yeah, just Walmart. Their Walmarts are amazing,
Yeah.
dude. No, just the type of trails they have out there. I think I'm kind of just in the mindset. I really want to get into like jumps and things like that, especially with the remote and everything now that we have the stuff we can unlock. And that's like the perfect grounds to just like start leveling up, because any jumps, at least around here and a lot of places I've been, it's like you either have like a flowy trail that's just like you're staying grounded, you're going fast.
Yep.
Or you have like insane jump lines that like EUCs could do it, but
mostly meant for like mountain biking and like just
like you're not doing that on one wheel, at least until we
Not
have like
converting
years
to
of
the-
practice.
Not
you know?
converting to the Ukes anytime soon.
No, I talked about this in the last podcast, but I used to be a huge just PEV guy in general. I started with technically the rental scooters, but then I got into e-skate and then one wheel, and I was trying to juggle things for a while, but it got to the point where I don't ride enough that it makes sense to juggle them. I'd rather just commit to one thing, and I'm all about like progression and things like that, and just the sort of satisfaction I get out of progressing in a sport and things like that. And if I jump ship and start juggling EUC in one wheel again, I'd rather just put all the time into one thing and see how far I can go with that, especially how well I did this year, the extra time I'll have next year, and not all the average age of a one-wheeler is probably like mid-30s-ish.
Yeah,
what I would
it's a
say,
mid 30s.
I've got a little bit of an age advantage, 24 now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got the time to throw myself off cliffs.
Absolutely.
like,
It's a
screw
grown
it.
man's
I'm
sport.
just gonna-
do it
24.
early.
yeah, I'm just going to
24.
screw it going. I've never had any
24.
major injuries or anything. So
24.
24.
24.
Wow.
When's your birthday?
December 25th.
So freshly
1999.
24. Freshly 24.
Freshly 24.
Wow, Christmas 99. That's a special. I mean, I still
Yeah, I
hold
was a 90s
99
kid.
was.
What can I say?
That was like the.
6 days into 90
You
kid.
just
90s
made
kid.
it. Just made it.
Yeah. Or you're 86, right?
88.
88.
No, I'm not that old. I'm not some old dude.
Yeah.
But
gross.
yeah,
What are you?
juggling.
How old am I?
No, what year? Yeah, but what year were you born?
94.
Nice.
Christian.
29. This is my
86.
last year before I'm in the grown man sport.
Yeah. Taylor, what year were you?
I look the oldest out of all of you,
94.
but
You do have
it
that
94?
wisdom beard going
I got the
for
wisdom
sure.
beard.
Was-
I
he
think
was
that's
born-
mostly the kids.
you don't look older than me.
I don't know. Well, yeah. We forgot about the kids.
I don't know, man. You're No, that was the squeaky, 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 squeaky. That sound effect. No, come on. You know, a wider breadth of sounds. I've had the air horn for a while, but I mean, Christian, can you give us that beautiful sound that you did?
I don't know if I can. I think the reason why I'm coughing and stuff so much is because I was doing that before the show.
Just laying into the bit too
I'll
much.
try it here in a second,
Okay,
but it might
just
make me throw up.
surprise
We'll let
us
you
with
charge
it.
it up. We'll let you charge it up.
I
We'll just
like-
have a 45 seconds of silence so Christian can do this sound.
I think that I will throw up if I keep trying it. All right, wait.
Nope.
I gotta remember how I did it.
There
Oh,
it is.
there.
That was a perfect one too.
Looping
Well
back.
executed.
Looping back. I think we took like 5 tangents there. No, but yeah, juggling all these
Welcome to the
areas.
Pushback.
Texas, West Coast, North Carolina. Weather looks really nice there, but a lot of rain. Trails are amazing though, so that's a big one. Like Tennessee area. I've had so many people like, dude, you want warmer weather? Come out to Florida, man. Florida would be great. I do want to visit.
You don't strike me as a Florida man.
I want to go to Stokebird at some point, but like,
Have you ever been to Stokebird?
I haven't, and that's the thing. I want
It
to.
is fun.
I haven't been to Florida besides like a Disney World trip, like forever ago. So I
I-
want to go at some point, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Just like flat trails, a lot of them ban one wheels. It
Yeah.
just doesn't.
The
doesn't
trail game
entice
is,
me.
it's nice to have elevation. I mean, one wheels don't need it, but man, is it like it really does make a wild difference. There's some cool parks down there,
Yeah.
that were a lot of fun, but yeah, if you're gonna like do like a home system, hard to say.
Yeah,
I
and
feel like-
I'm just not a street rider anymore, so I don't get as much satisfaction out of
Yeah, I
street
feel
group
like
rides.
when I started, I was all street, and then when I started hanging out with these losers, like I became all trail, you know. And then
once you get
Now you're a
hooked on
trail
trail,
wizard.
streets
Dude.
just aren't the same.
I know, and then but it is really nice for all the reasons you said to go to Miami in February
Exactly.
for
just
Ori's birthday.
The one trip
to do a
and
bunch of street riding in the heat. Like
Yeah,
in the
exactly,
sun, you know, like it's
exactly.
really not like I'll take anything. I'll
take a
you know, like,
vacation,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter. Trails, street, whatever. Middle of February or end of February in Ohio fucking blows.
Yeah.
So it's like so nice.
But yeah, if I'm thinking in terms of like, okay, I want to go somewhere where I can get the most one-wheeling possible, that isn't Florida.
Yeah.
So that pretty much just leaves West Coast and Texas, or pretty much West Coast and Texas.
You had to pick, disregarding living or anything else. If you get one trail to ride the rest of your life, or trail system.
Dude, for the longest time, I would have said like, well, it depends on how much you define trail system.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
Bentonville in general, like Slider
yeah.
Pen is really sick. Zip trails in Wisconsin, we hit it up every time we do Windman. So if you come out to Windman, come out. I have a video on my channel. It's
100% coming this
amazing.
year for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I was so bummed that Robert stole all
That's
you
what
guys.
I was about to say it's entirely Robert's fault, and I'm calling him out proper here
Now,
on the
to be
podcast.
fair, he stole you guys to take you out to what is now my favorite trail system, Tahoe. Jeff flew me out to test out the float wheel when they got it. And that's the thing. I only spent one day there. I only rode there on the float wheel, which it's a fun board. It is not my favorite board. And I hadn't been used to riding like without control freaks or anything like that since I'd just come off race season. So it was an experience like getting used to that. And even then, those have to be my favorite trails I've ever ridden. It's like
hard to pass down
nothing else.
Tahoe. Yep.
Like something about just that loose surface. You can eat shit on it and like feel nothing as long as you don't hit a rock.
Yep.
All the features are like one wheelable in one way or another.
Yep.
It's amazing, dude.
Yep.
So,
Excellent answer.
yeah. In terms of just specific trail system, Tahoe for sure. But the biggest thing, like figuring out where I want to go, I haven't been to a single West Coast event. I almost went to Shredfest last year. I was really stoked to go. I almost went last year. I was going to road trip out there with like Maker's PEV. And then literally the day before I was going to leave, I injured myself. I was literally just like chilling on a trail, trying to keep my endurance up because I hadn't ridden in a while. So I was like, not training for Shredfest, but like I just wanted to make sure I wouldn't be super like fatigued out there or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just chilling on a trail, let my guard down.
That's what happens.
It's the worst, like low speed, let my guard down, hit a root, and just like when you're not expecting it, the bail, especially at low speed, the bails are just so dumb. You just fall in the most like ragdoll-ish
Well, because you
way.
don't roll. You don't.
Yeah.
Rolling is nice if you have enough
just
speed to
stare
roll,
up.
but you just
They're like ultra violent. I feel like at low speeds. Like my last year when we were in Miami, the one crash I had was I was just coming around a turn, just started thinking about something. I wasn't going fast, you know, and it was like I think I was literally probably going 10 or 12 miles an hour, or even less, maybe. It was the last curve on the little trail. We were about to get back on the, whatever, and there was just like a little root sticking out on the side of the thing, and I clipped it with like the front, and I had this huge purple bruise all up on my. I just felt it's
you
so,
get bodied, dude.
and it's so unexpected. Like when your mind isn't in it or whatever. Like if you're engaged and you're going fast, you're like, well, as soon as something gets me, I'm gonna slide, I'm gonna roll, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna do all the things. But if you're just sitting around picking your nose, like it's violent.
By the time you're ready, you're already like, you're right there.
Bodied
You're right
is the
above
right
ground.
word for it. Yeah.
Phone is the worst one. It's like you'll be on your phone and like you'll just hit something with that, just just down. I saw poor Edgar. I saw when he broke his wrist in Miami.
Yeah.
And that's what you
In
just like on his
2022
phone,
or something
just,
like that.
Oh, bad. That was a bad one.
Yeah. What the worst is when like no footholds or anything, and you'd like off guard, and you don't realize that you've kind of just like straightened up your knees just a little bit. You're not absorbing anything. You hit a bump and you literally come off the
Like
board
you
completely, land back on it,
right
and
off,
then realize what happened. But
and your feet are like in the wrong
the
spot
straight
when you
leg
come
is a
back.
bad
You're
feeling.
like, fuck.
But it was dirt. It wouldn't have been a terrible bail, but there had been happened to be a root just like right at where I was bailing into.
Yeah.
And I just slid and jammed my thumb straight into it. So it was a stupid bail that like I could still ride, but I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Should I drive across the country to go to this event where I'll be very tempted to actually race and send it and enjoy myself? It just wasn't worth it.
You can't make them all. You can't.
But I've been wanting to go to Shredfest since the first
Shredfest
one.
is
All the
very sick.
like, I've never been to a West Coast event, and there's so many guys in the community I've connected with, like online and whatnot, that a lot of them come to all the events, but there's a lot of guys that can't afford to come from the West Coast to the other events.
Yeah.
So tons of guys out there I'd love to meet. I've never met before. So
Sounds like you need to find someone with RV and go on tour.
dude, someday.
Full one-wheel tour.
Very
Then
sweet.
you can be settled down.
Like
That'd
the
be
yourself a Sprinter
Silvas,
van,
Shane
bro.
Autry, those guys just like
Yeah,
traveling
yeah.
across the country. I have to someday. That
Dude,
looks
Yeah.
amazing.
Sprinter van. Just get the Sprinter van, load it up with your wheel, make a little tune house in there.
Until it dies, I'm riding this 05 Toyota Corolla to the fucking
Yes.
ground. I'm at
It's never gonna die.
215,000 miles.
Wow, you got
Not
time.
a single issue.
Wow.
Pretty much.
Yeah, no, I love my Corolla, man. That was a good car.
And the
for
gas
sure.
mileage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm running that thing
I
to
don't
the
blame
ground.
you. I do not blame you.
Yeah.
So-
It'll get 400,000 or 500,000, I bet. So
All right,
good luck,
I won't
bro.
give you your going away Sprinter van then. It's fine. I'll just hold on.
You just keep that one.
Now
in
that
the
I know how much
garage.
money, now that I know how much money you probably have from not paying car payments, you can afford your own van.
Yeah, just don't look at my student loans.
Yeah, dude. Fuck all that.
Yeah, but so that's really my big goal for the next year is I want to make as many of these West Coast events that I've never been to as
Yeah.
possible. So I'm aiming for like Shredfest, Let It Ride. I don't know if they're gonna do Northwest Electric Fest again this year. Haven't heard anything about that. Am I missing anything else that's on like West Coast area? I don't think so. There might be. I don't know what's gonna happen. Underground finals, either underground finals or if it doesn't happen, they might just do their own hangout there. But Denver, Colorado,
Nice.
Ooh.
those trails look insane.
Really?
dude.
I mean, I would assume.
Like
I would assume they're
just
good.
the guys
Yeah,
that
it's
come
just
out of there
mountains
insanely
and,
fast, but
it's got
it's
the
literally
terrain.
flow trails where you're actually like most trails on a one wheel. Even if you have the specs for it, like realistically, you're only going like 20 mile per hour max, maybe a bit over in some like cool straightaway section.
Yeah.
those trails you can legit go top speed on your one wheel all the way through.
Nice.
So if there's an actual race there, that's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, and then what else? There's gonna be at Reveille Peak Ranch in Burnett, Texas. It was Lemonade Float Fest last year. They're trying Dirt Surface teaming up with them this year. They're gonna do a race out there. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make that, but I want to try. We'll see. I just want to do every race, man. It's crazy because there's more and more, and I want to hit every. Obviously, that's not realistically possible. And it starts begging the question of like, do we get to a point where it's too much? Where we're like starting to split people up. I don't know if we want to like. I almost kind of want to reduce the events a bit and like condense things a bit to where we have more people going to the same event and bigger parts. I feel like that draws in more like sponsors and things like that. So I don't know.
I think ultimately that'll be determined by the people who start writing the checks at the end of the day.
Exactly.
For the rate. Like if you're going to start showing up, like the event's going to be bigger if there's a $10,000 cash prize on the winning finals type of thing, or there's no different than any other race, like regionals, there's national. Like eventually money will be on the table, and that will money always talks at the end of the day, or our prizes or some sort.
This is sort of jumping to a different topic, but I really want to talk about it, is classes this year.
Yeah.
Because like last year we had the whole, okay, if you run Vesc, just go in open class. But it seems like things are changing a bit this year. I know multiple race organizers, it's one main one, but multiple race organizers, I believe, that are trying to do something where Vesc are actually allowed in the pro class. And for ORL, they'll just give Future Motion the names that they need. So like if you won't be ranked if you raced pro in a Vesc.
Okay. I
But Vesc guys can still compete for that podium.
I see.
And potentially if there's like pro specific cash prizes not
Interesting.
provided by ORL,
Right.
they'd be eligible for those too.
I see. So it'd be kind of almost like a sponsor from like kind of different racing leagues, basically.
Yeah.
Huh.
But the big caveat is the real outlier. Like we have GTS now,
Right.
And you can make an argument that that sort of brings things to a fair playing field. Like Future Motion said, they put out basically the best racing board they can.
Yeah.
This is built for performance.
Right.
It's like, okay, we'll stack them up head to head and see what happens. But the main outlier is the remote.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they could make a remote, but right now they don't.
Yeah.
And is it like
That also
do you
seems-
like, of course, future motion riders there's nothing stopping them technically from building their own Vesc and racing like that.
Mm-hmm.
But especially when Vesc is still the minority, it's growing, but still the minority right now. Do we want to sort of single those people out and take away potential podium spots from those guys just because they're not racing a Vesc? Because there's a lot of argument. In my opinion, remote's absolutely an advantage.
Yeah. I think it has to be. I think that it's, again, it comes down to learning how to ride with a remote. Because again, I think that if you're just coming into it fresh, I think a remote can actually be a disadvantage for a lot of people because they won't carry speed. They'll rely too much on the remote. It is a different style of riding. So
that can be said for a lot of things.
It's a skill. Yeah. It's like in a lot of ways. So. Yeah, it's
just a different way
to
change up your setup. But so, in my opinion, and it seems like that's the direction things are going right now, is remote, at least for now, should probably be kept separate. I get the argument for either, especially like some people are like, Future Motion won't make their own remote until we have Vesc boards with remotes beating them on the actual podium.
Yeah.
But I feel like just comparing times across classes is enough, and I don't want to ruin the experience or
I agree.
rustle anyone's jimmies in any way.
Right.
You like that one?
Rustle anyone's jimmies.
But so it seems like right now there's going to be separate. Every race will be different, but a couple races are going to have pro class where Vesc and Future Motion boards can compete head-to-head in the same class as long as you're willing to drop the remote. So I thought that was an awesome idea, sort of see,
makes sense
sort
to
of
me.
battle the firmwares
Absolutely.
and see just how things stack up. So then I'm trying to figure out, okay, who would actually be willing to do that? Like drop the remote in exchange for like putting on that sort of rivalry and seeing how they stack up and things like that. So I put together a group chat of just there's one specific event that was like figuring out what they want to do classes wise. So I got everyone I knew that was racing Vesc there, remote or no remote, just planned on racing Vesc there, which was, I think I found like 30 something people, which is wild.
Wow.
Last year, most races, there'd be like 2 or 3 guys racing Vesc. So that alone is wild that it's grown that much.
Yeah.
But so I started putting together polls, basically get an idea of who would be willing to drop the remote in exchange for like seeing how they stack up head to head, and being able to compete with their fellow riders on the Future Motion side. And I thought it'd be pretty split. Almost every single person in that chat was just like, "Fuck it, I'm keeping the remote." And this was like, if you race pro, you can compete for cash prizes and be on that podium. Yeah. And if you race like remote class, like unless there's like extra sponsors that specifically sponsor that, it'll just be like a trophy or something like that. I'm like, I don't care about money. I just want to ride the board I want to ride.
Interesting.
I want to push the sport to the max. I want to see how far we can get and drive that innovation, and a lot of arguments like that.
Yeah.
So even though some races are going to have that option for people to race Vesc in pro, which is really cool, especially I know there's some people that hate the remote. Like they just want to stay hands-free. So that also gives them that outlet. Yeah. But even with that, I think we're still going to see so many people just going full send kitting out their board to the max.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really interesting to see how those times stack up against the GTS.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Windman, I won the Windman Enduro, which was fucking awesome. That's like my first big win in any one-wheel race.
Yeah, that's killer.
The caveat being I won by, it was like a 30-minute race or something like that, and I won by 30 seconds with Austin Silva right behind me. Austin's a fucking tank.
Yes, he is.
He was on a stock GT with a performance treaded tire.
Wow.
Nothing else.
Wow.
This was right before it was announced that he'd be on the factory team. So he's basically repping the factory team without saying it. And it was GT, not a GTS.
Yeah, not a GTS. Yeah.
Dang.
So I'm going to be running like a fairly similar setup, unless maybe I throw the Superflux in there. I don't know how many big innovations we're going to have hardware-wise in the next year outside of higher voltage, but I don't really think that'll make that big of a difference. We're not hitting top speeds on trails anyways.
Right.
Well, meanwhile, guys like that are going from GT to GTS.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got guys that are also running footholds and things like that. So and then more people coming into Vesc. It's just going to be a whole new fucking level next year. I'm really stoked on that.
I am too.
Yeah.
No,
It's going to get scary.
Because the whole underground scene I feel like it really got bolstered this last year, and I think that it'll be interesting to kind of see those two things, not battling against, but we're just kind of seeing the different dynamics there that are at play. Yeah, I think it's gonna be sweet.
I remember the last West Coast event I forgot. Wheel Fun Weekend.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the one I'm starting with. That's
Nice.
in a month and a half, or no, a little less than a month. I don't know when this podcast airs. It might have happened by now. Wheel Fun Weekend, mid-February. They hang out at the shop. They do trick competition. They've got a race on that like BMX track.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm probably gonna do shit on that. I can't do pump tracks for shit because part of it is I'm so light and I'm so short. So I don't have my
the
lightweight,
up
the
step
board
and
wants
step
to go
down.
flying, and then I don't have the leg length to pump the board. So you have guys like Kyle Hansen that are just pumping all the way through the board, so he's completely grounded. No matter how much I try, I'm just airing every single one of those. I haven't ridden that track, but Thunderdome.
Nico, have you
where I
thought about
experienced
wearing
that.
a weighted vest?
There you go.
I legit have. I won't
20
lie.
to
I want to
40
try it
pounds.
sometime, but I feel like that'd be so dangerous for bailing.
I don't know.
Like-
It's a sand. Maybe it'd be more protective.
Well, I feel like it just screw me up with controlling my body for a bail or running it out or something like that.
You're not used to being
so-
fat, so adding 40 pounds immediately might feel
Yeah,
weird.
but so I think it'll be fun. I don't expect to win it even with the remote, but I think that'll be fun. But they also have this challenge. They actually did one in November to December. They had this challenge out, this trail. I can't remember what it's called, but basically you had a full month. It was on Hermes to just put down times. It was an old underground segment from 2 years ago when underground was first a thing. So they took the top time from that season, which had stood to that day, and they're like, you have a full month. If you beat this time, you unlock a free GTS. And then beyond that point, at the end of the month, whoever has the fastest time wins that free GTS.
Wow.
So it was this whole thing. I'm surprised it didn't get more traction than it
Wow.
did. Not a ton of people came out, but some fast guys. I know Kyle Hansen was involved in that. And then Chabre ended up winning that. I wanted to go out so bad. I was literally ready to fly out. There's guys that were ready to sponsor me to fly out
that's
to win
crazy.
this dang board. And I was really stoked to do that. But it was Thanksgiving weekend in the way. I had one weekend that I had my girlfriend's concert I had to go to. I wanted to go to.
Excellent choice of words.
Excellent choice.
Brought it back.
And then of course the strat for that is just show up last second so people can't really if you go early, people have that time to sort of
Right.
aim for and challenge. So the real strat is just go last second. Hopefully a couple days so you have time to get used to the trail. But so I was gonna go the final weekend. The last weekend of the challenge was my finals weekend. The weekend before finals. So I was like, it's before finals. It's not during
I
finals.
could make it.
I could make it back. Won't be able to study at all. Won't have time for these final projects. And I was already mentally checked out. So I was a little closer to that line of not getting through than I would have liked to be.
Cheat.
So I eventually just had to make the call. But GTS is $3,000. So I was
that's a
super
huge
bummed about
prize
that.
for-
And they're doing another one. At Wheel Fun Weekend, they're
nice.
doing another challenge. So after that, I'm so fired. I was I need to redeem myself. So that challenge has been going on since the beginning of the year. People are already putting down times on it, and it's across 3 different trails. And the way my schedule is, Valentine's Day and everything like that, I won't be able to make the trip out there I won't get there until Saturday morning, and that's if I go nonstop with resting and things like that, I'll get there just in time for the BMX pump track race.
Nice.
So I'll spend that day doing that.
Nice.
And then the day after is the time I'll have to do those 3 gnarly trails and from sunrise to when it ends at 5 p.m. So I'm literally going through digging through clips online of MTV run throughs, but of course they all have edits and chop up their videos. So I have to stitch all these videos together to just get an
Commitment.
idea of the run through of how the trails lined up and get
Yeah.
sort of lines in my head prior. So that once I show up on the day, I can just sight run and start doing race laps.
Yeah.
I literally spent like an entire night just mashing videos together. And it literally go from like one like 360p video from like years ago to like a more recent
Like
one
4K
and
and then
like jumping back and forth. It's so shoddy, but like it at least gets those lines in my head. So I've got the jump start because I'll probably only have like an hour and a half on each trail to lay down the best time. Well, there's going to be other pros there that entire weekend.
Yeah.
Like Thursday through Saturday, probably putting down times. So we'll see what happens.
go get 'em.
I really want to win that GTS to sell it. It comes with they engrave the rail.
Oh, okay.
So I think my plan would be just hold on to that rail and just hang it up, have that be the trophy,
Yeah.
and then switch out the rails to something else and kit it out a little bit just so it's a little more enticing and sell it to someone for like a really good price.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be trying to like, I'm not gonna waffle it or some shit like that.
Oh, waffle away, my friend.
So, but I just think that'd be really sweet. So I'm just that's gonna be the start of my race season. It's gonna
Sick.
be literally drive across the country when I haven't ridden. I've been riding like once a month the past couple months. We'll see if my legs can take it. And straight off the drive, straight into racing.
You'll be great.
We'll see what happens.
If you watch enough Onewheel videos, it strengthens your legs. That's how
true.
it works. Yeah.
Dude, That's right.
That's what you like watch videos and you're like, I could do that.
Exactly.
I think I'm ready. And then you actually hop on the boards like, this is not what so.
I mean, you said it earlier. A big part of racing is it's the endurance aspect. It's like because you can run a trail all you want, but then if you run it full speed, it's like it is so much more exhausting.
It's crazy. Like it's an electric board. You wouldn't think so.
You wouldn't think so, but it will. Yeah, it'll beat your ass for sure. So
crazy.
that was one of the things I started focusing on. I was like, okay, if I'm going to be a better racer, I mean, riding more, but also just squats, just generally making that endurance goes such a long way.
Yeah.
And you know that's also the times when I've crashed. It's like my legs just can't do it. Whatever it is, like whether it's a jump or whatever it is, my leg just can't keep me up anymore. I'm just like, oh, I'm down.
That's
Cool.
why I have to hold myself back because I can tell if I push more, I'm gonna crash. And
Yeah.
if I do crash, that wears you out even more.
Yeah, then you're really
After I
sapped.
crash,
Yep.
I'm done. Like I
Yeah.
cannot get back up to speed, no matter how much I try. So Windman, I was lucky enough. I only had one like minor bail early on, but the end of that, I was literally like going like 4 or 5 miles per hour slower than I know I could have been, but
Yeah.
I literally just couldn't, at least without risking a bail. So I was still on the topic of, I was talking about like the past year, I've really focused in on like finding lines on all these trails. I literally take notes. Like I'll go in and hike the trail, find like I'll focus on race lines, like how best I can carry speed around this turn.
Yeah.
Things like that. And I'm surprised I don't see more people like paying attention to some of the there's people that'll show up to a race weekend and literally like they'll even spend like 2 days practicing or something, but not take a single like they won't get off their board. They'll just do race run after race run after
Right.
full speed, and a lot of them works for them. So maybe it's just me.
Some people, it's a commit to memory thing, you know.
But it makes me wonder. Like, I can see people starting to take the sport more seriously as it gets faster and
for
faster,
sure.
and thinking about those details. I know Austin Silva's all about that.
Yeah, well, I think
Like-
it's a distinct mindset. I think both you and Austin have a very like distinct approach to progression, where it's like it's a very like you're kind of counting each step as it goes. Where like I don't know, it's just different approaches. I feel like, but you're very methodical, where it's like okay, like that was that line. Let's like
Yeah, like
assess how it
having-
went for me, and then like okay, let's do it again this way, and then figuring out the optimal way.
Yeah, like
to-
having a plan, taking a trail and like dividing it into sort of like segments so you can have the route in your mind, thinking like, okay, this is where I need to start braking so that I have the right approach for this turn, things like that.
Right.
Like, not a lot of people are doing that, and it's working fine. Like, a lot of people are just naturally fucking skilled as hell, especially even at just like finding those lines on the spot and things like that. But it also makes me wonder like where people could be if people start taking that more seriously too.
for sure.
So I don't know. That's a really interesting thing that I think we'll see people start taking things more seriously and
Maybe get to like the
racing and-
rally car level with like you
Literally.
have someone in your ear being like hard right 30 degrees like I don't know what the calls are but yeah it's like that I feel like I could definitely see the sport going that way where people are I mean again even with like the Vesc tunes and like having someone like a someone there that is like your tune, like your tune dude. Hard to say, but I think all that's really badass though. Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely got the opportunity to. But sweet, man. Well, it sounds like a lot has transpired and a lot is about to transpire.
That's why it's been the craziest year of my life, and it feels like just the start of like, I don't know. It's gonna be a wild year just for the sport in general. I
think there's good stuff coming your way, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Stoked, man. Any other major things? Any major points we're missing? You had the thumb bail. You've had all our tune talk here. You're graduated. You're an adult.
You're an adult.
That's 24 now, dude.
You can almost rent a car. Almost.
Really? You can't rent a car at 24?
25.
Yeah. 25 is the car rental.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
is that different
kind
like
of
state
makes
to
sense,
state or something like that?
I think it's across the board.
It's pretty general for
How
car
old are you?
insurance.
I thought I could.
When do you age out of like a draft? Like a military draft? When do you age out
Why do you
of
bring this up? What do you know?
32 or 35, he says?
Oh, perfect. I'm out.
Yeah. I'm getting close.
I'm too old to go to war.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I've ridden this. We're at Stoke Run right now. Come out to Stoke Run.
Yeah,
Butler, Ohio.
You were talking BMX track, bro. So like we're in the works to try and get some slurry down, which is basically it's like limestone dust.
Yeah,
and they pack it in with glue, so it's like the Marysville track. But it's a BMX track. We have a full size BMX track and one of the best in the nation, according to some of the USA BMX dudes. So I'm like, ooh, some one wheel races on a BMX track.
Yeah, just got to handle the vegetation and all that overgrowth.
Well, and that's like what we're looking at the slurry for, because the slurry is basically, like I said, it's limestone dust, but it makes it maintenance free. So you pack it in, you roll it in with like a glue, and it almost makes it like a paved track.
Yeah,
like almost to the point.
I love that, like the mix up of it's like paved, like paved berm stuff, something like that, to like dirt section, and that mix up and like having like the traction for just fast as hell, like hard turns on the berms, and then full gun it on the dirt without feeling like you're gonna get shredded if you fall.
Right.
I think that's pretty sick.
It is. We're realizing it's kind of hard to keep up with, as far as like even like you go 2 weeks go by and like the vegetation is back. So it's like the only way to do it is like use the soil tack or like this dirt glue stuff.
Yeah.
Which starts to add up in cost over it. So we're like, well, maybe because ultimately it's going to be for BMX racing. But like
have a Roundup sprinkler.
I figure out like how much is actually going to be used.
It's that, and then how the rain falls. Like we have to figure out some different drainage.
Drainage,
there's literal like swamp pits that end up down there because the water doesn't have a good place to go. So all the lows, like all the just straight out. So we're looking into it, but I would love to see some one.
That's what once that gets dialed, I think it'd be so sick for one wheel races. You got the street park, which is awesome for one wheels, honestly.
Yeah,
lots of lines through there.
Agreed.
And then the indoor park, which is nice when it's cold, but also in general, it's pretty intimidating. I like you guys have like movable features. There's a lot of flat ground. You can set stuff up.
Yeah.
So even if you're not doing like the crazy stuff, there's still lots of things you can mess around on.
Yeah.
And then right after this, I'm gonna go in there and check things out a bit and see if I can do at least a little more than I did last time I came here.
Yeah, dude.
Remote till unlocks shit like that. Even messing with some like sketchy as hell features right now. Like I've been figuring out. I said earlier, I really want to get into like jumps and figure out how can we make jumps work on a one wheel, because there's so many factors that just makes it more and more complicated. Because when you tilt the nose up, that puts you farther back just naturally, where you have to lean forward to compensate and have the same like acceleration.
Yeah.
And then to accelerate beyond that, you have to lean even more over the nose. It's just so awkward, like body positioning. And whether it's like a software thing or like muscle memory, maybe a bit of both, I can't get it to where every time I try to do a jump, I'll break like just a little bit right at the transition and lose all my momentum. Even if I have all the nose clearance in the world, I just lose my momentum and I can't do the jump. So I'm like, how do I solve this? What if we just get rid of the brakes?
Yeah.
Like either it'll work, or I'll be scared out of my mind where like if you don't have brakes and you lean back, you're gonna fall off the back. That's how the board balances you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that'll motivate me to lean forward. So I literally have on my board, I have a feature of as I tilt
Brake
the
removal?
nose up, the brakes like get reduced more and more to the point where once you're full tilt, you have 0 brakes.
Oh man.
And then the nose also gets more aggressive. So I literally haven't even tried it yet, but we're gonna try it.
Heck yeah.
We're gonna see if
Don't
it
break
works.
yourself.
Yeah, we'll see.
Sign the waiver.
I signed the waiver. Don't worry.
That's
But just
So you're going into the foam pit today. Is that?
I'm gonna try. I know Josh did it. He kind of just like crawled over the edge a little bit, and
Yep.
just like he didn't have foothold on either.
Fuck you,
or anything
Nico.
like that. Yeah.
Flies in.
So we'll see what happens with that. But just stuff like that, like we have with new like Vesc features and stuff like that. We got to get creative now. Like we've got all the stuff that like you would think of normally.
Right.
So we got to get creative with how can we actually make these boards better? How can we do things that one wheels can't that EUCs can?
Right.
How can we push the sport?
I'm stoked to test some stuff out here. We have a bunch of trails that you haven't even seen, like what our downhill stuff is.
I haven't seen the downhill stuff at all, just the
So,
jumps.
That's like what we're gonna really start carving into come springtime here. But I think the downhill stuff is gonna be a lot of it's gonna be a lot.
It'll be a lot of fun.
That'd be
Yeah.
sick.
The one thing that really almost convinced me to like buy a EUC, like one of the nicer ones, is just all the big jumps we have. Like they're so massive. It's like you can't one wheel them, but like you could definitely do them with an EUC. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that is like an EUC park, and I'd love to try it. But besides that, I think once we get the trails on here, this place becomes more one wheel friendly. But like it was built to be a BMX park at the end of the day. So it's like, well, we can only modify so much. Like we're the most welcome to PEVs, but I was telling Dylan this because we were talking, because you have the event at Mike's Bike Park. you
Yep,
guys
this
are doing.
weekend we're doing another indoor Mike's Bike Park, like the one we did 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
That's on the channel. I did a whole like
Yeah,
podcast
yeah, we
at
had the
park.
multiple podcasts.
We don't get
that was
the-
when you did the pull behind.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
the pallet.
It's the best noise ever.
Yeah, like nose tail slide onto the and then just drag it across the floor.
Yep.
We don't have the third floor again this year, which kind of sucks.
Oh, so you only
It's
have
just
the couple
closed off
floors?
we just got the 1 and 2, and then the first floor is also they've changed the ramps a bit. It's a little more gnarly on a one wheel, but now we've also got Vesc and remote tilt. So hopefully it's still an enjoyable experience for everyone else
Yeah.
that doesn't have remote tilt. But when you have remote tilt, dude, you can hit everything in the park now. It's
Right.
crazy. It's
Sick,
wild.
Because that was the thing, and I talked because Dylan had messaged me. He's like, maybe we'll get rent Stoke Run. I'm like, I would love that more than anything. I'm like, but there's so much in the R Park that's just not. It's not. You get like 45 minutes around. You're like, I'm pretty much done.
Yeah.
Versus like Mike's, it has like actual flow, like flows and
Yeah.
course tracks and stuff.
The big thing is if we held something here, you definitely want to have people come out and bring their own like just lots of set of features and make things more
Yeah.
available. I think
What
it's
would be
doable.
the best over time is just we'll expand around the building. We'll make a lap course around the
Oh,
building. you know?
yeah.
20, like we'll extend it 20 feet each way, all the way around.
So at the end of the day, some people just want somewhere warm to be on their board and these
Yeah.
like
Yeah, even just doing like a
warm
trick
lawns.
session, like slide session, like
I
a
think
lot
a
of
little,
people are
I think
pretty
a little
happy with
street
that.
park will help with that, like
Yeah.
the little section we're building. But
That's why in Michigan, I don't know if they do it anymore, but for a while they had events at this like a velodrome type place. It's literally just a lap track,
Yeah.
and they'd get like 20 to 30 people literally just to be able to ride around the track, and then they set up lines along the track so that you're like hitting ramps and things like that, with just
sick.
some homemade stuff and bonk blocks and things like that.
Dude, that's where
But
it's at.
people just want to ride.
I think if there's a
cold.
place that we could actually make like
On the property?
like a lappy feel in the park. Nothing is lappy right now. It's all
Yeah, I
vertical.
think you could. I think you could do it with like, just like knocking out of just select places. I feel like you could actually make a decent loop
Yeah.
with not too much, still leaving all the infrastructure there.
Stick
But
all the ramps and just squeeze it in just a little bit.
just full perimeter.
No
wrap.
problem.
No problem whatsoever. Man, I can't move any of it. This stuff is Wessel built. This stuff was built for Ford F-350s to drive on, like quadruple sheeted things. And
I forgot we
yeah.
had the whole view of the
yeah,
park right here.
we're looking at the park right now. I'm like looking now, thinking, I'm like, how could we make this more fun indoor? But
That's what if
That's
you want
a-
to have fun with a one wheel in here, like an event or something, set up
Yeah.
a course just through the park.
that's
You
true.
can absolutely like what you did with the skateboarding event the other week.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing laps like from the street section down around, like doing that like
yeah.
switchback berm. and then into.
I wonder if
under
we
the
could
street
make, like-
section. You could do something like that.
We could even make like a modded ramp we could drag out to put up against some of the actual like quarters, like some of the bigger transitions.
Yeah.
That's more bank worthy. So you could still get up, like on top of the box jump. You could
Exactly.
get up the box jump if we dragged this thing out, dropped it, and it was more of a bank feature.
And don't worry, viewers at home. We'll put the live security feed on the screen right now. There's a link in the description.
The thing that we're looking at.
We're just looking at a beautiful park. That's it.
I actually haven't been able to keep my eyes off it.
Wow. Just
It
eyeballing my
really
parking
is.
lot.
It's so sick. You guys have this property, dude.
Dude, hey, you were the first. You were one of the first in it.
I
Well,
saw
called
you guys
up.
I saw Taylor was posting those videos on like before and after, and it's literally just like me and Ori in the dark cruising through the abandoned
I'm like,
skate park.
guys, we have to go to this. This is happening. So, but yeah, man. No, I appreciate you coming down, and we're gonna get some riding, and
Thanks for having me, dude.
we're stoked, man.
It's gonna be a good year.
It'll be a good year.
It's gonna be exciting.
The
to
next
hear.
time you come back, I keep telling people it'll be really fun too. Is like during the spring or something. If we set up like to give people a feel, we'll set up a conversational podcast like in the park, like on that
That's what-
volcano feature or on the box, like somewhere
That'd
where you
be
can
so sick,
see
dude. Yeah.
everything around it. I think it would be really fun, and then give people a visual of like, oh, it's
Exactly.
a massive park.
Basically, like what we did at Mike's, but like a whole new
Yes,
level.
but like with a park there. you know?
proper.
So,
Yeah, done right.
I'm down
Be
for
sick. Let's do it.
it. All right, let's do it.
There it is.
2024, baby. Nico Oliman has graduated.
Yes, sir.
He's got the best board in the world. He's racing everywhere.
It's gonna be a fun year. I'm going head on. I'm going all in this year. We'll see what happens.
Balls to the wall, bro.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, dude.
again, man. Thanks for coming on. We're stoked to come
you.
sesh with you now. And thanks for coming back on the Pushback again. We got another episode in sooner than we told you would.
Thank you. Maybe another one sometime soon.
Hell yeah.
Very soon.
Just busting out episodes.
All of them.
One after another.
All the episodes, all the time.